Thank you very much, Ms. Humera. I'm really thankful to Ambassador Nadeem Riaz, and I'm really thankful to IRS for giving me this opportunity. And it's great to share this platform along with Dr. Chandran and Dr. Salma. I think today's discussion is very beautiful discussion, and we have to understand although there are not much bright prospects, but as former Prime Minister of India, Mr. Vajpayee said that you cannot change friends, but you can change friends, but you cannot change neighbors. So I think this is where we have to start. What is important to understand that the geostrategic position, how this to be used for a geostrategic dividend, this is what we need to realize now. And I think there is a massive realization in our both the countries. And but we need to work. We have iconic and towering personalities on both sides in India and Pakistan, and they need to play a very strong role, and they need to be very active. And we must understand, and the leadership on both the countries must understand that hope is not a policy. We have to act. And if we won't act, we are already too much late. We need a lot of integration, we need a lot of connectivity. So if prospects are not brightened, it could be brightened. We can work on that. And how can we brighten the prospect? That is important, and that is today's talk. I think the bottom line, the both the countries understand that there is no alternative to peace between India and Pakistan. That is the bottom line. So we need to work on these lines, that how to get closer. So what is alternate to peace in India and Pakistan? That is underdevelopment. It is continued hostility. It is propaganda war. It is media war. This is what we have been doing over the period of time. So Prime Minister Modi was of the view that let's fight underdevelopment. Let's fight poverty. And this is the same kind of gestures have come from the leadership of Pakistan, but there are no actions. And this is what we have to that how we have to move forward from this. Um, the cost of these kinds of alternatives is very high, and sometimes it's not a war, not a bloody war, but that creates, or the environment generates warlike environment. And this kind of an environment, if it generates warlike environment, then we have to understand that 70 years warlike environment is more dangerous than 7 days war. So we are living in an era or in times where we have seen 70 years of warlike environment. And this is much more dangerous, as I said, than 7 days war. So the leadership of both the countries, they have to bridge the perceptual divide. It is more consequential than real divide. So the real divide exists in land, but this perceptual divide resides in hearts and minds. And why we have seen that how divided our both societies are. We are so much close and connected with the cultures, our shared past, our the way we have lived in the past. But the divide we have seen, this is more dangerous. This has created more hostility. This has created more animosity. So, for example, that if we can reach a ceasefire agreement, that is a big development. And we can do much more than this. We have the capability, we have the potential. We have yielded so many bilateral agreements in the past. That didn't mean that we didn't do something good. We did that. And although there is a mindset of hostility on both the sides, there is an issue of Kashmir. Pakistan has always been fearing India's bigger size, this strategic asymmetry in terms of size and economy. We have been looking, but I think there are many smaller countries in the world which can compete with the bigger countries. So we have to look inside as well how we have to move forward. So to bridge this perceptual divide, there must be an agreement, and that agreement should be on both sides. So that how to bridge this perceptual divide. And here comes the role of the narratives which the leadership on both the sides they need to propagate. And we are living with these web brigades. This is a new kind of a war where we are living. We are living with the web brigades. We are living with the troll armies. And we are living with the troll factories on both sides. So if we have to create prospects, then we have to create a common narrative. And the common narrative can be created if the leadership thinks big, the leadership thinks long. And we need to stop these knee jerk reactions to the situations. And obviously, when we talk the knee jerk reactions and we have to avoid all this, then the leadership must not be hostage to the environment. By the way, the environment they created, the environment of hostility in the past. So we have to avoid the knee jerk reaction. If we will really avoid the knee jerk reactions, we can think long. We will not be hostage to our own past, and we will be looking forward. And remember that these short-term jolts, they can lead to long-term earthquakes. We are not paying attention that how the societies on both sides have been radicalized. So if we really have to reach a long-term solution, we need to think big. We need to think for a longer period of time. And since I say that there are no prospects of talks, and we can brighten the prospects. And for brightening the prospects, I think we just can't make it bilateral. I think a sincere outside involvement is needed, and that involvement must come from the United States of America. United States, we have been seeing how things happen in turmoil there, but and in United States has been a guarantor of peace in this part of the region. So a sincere involvement is needed. I personally believe that India is getting a more global clout, more global importance. But India is a bigger country, but I think it lacks maturity in creating much of the stable environment. That's not what I'm saying from the Pakistani perspective, but I think it just can't get all that overnight. So proper contacts and communication must be established, and it should be started. It should start from the society, and in particular the social media platforms. And I have found that social media platforms are more secure, more sincere than than the other traditional platforms. The mainstream media has not shown maturity, which the social media has shown. The people who are with the big voices, they can make an impact. Forget the troll armies, forget the web armies, those troll factories, what they are doing. But I'm talking about the people, the social media. There are no vulnerabilities. There are no compulsions here. So I think proper contact and communication will be important. We have to create avenues, and we have to unfreeze this showbiz and sports. So the bigger thing for creating a wonderful prospects between India and Pakistan, I think we need to separate this low politics from high politics. Sports, culture, society, people to people contact, educational tours. I think this is what we have to understand. In last 15 years, we have seen a massive mobilization of social media. And in these times, our societies, our people have not met. A youth has not met. The youth is radicalized a lot. I can understand that. I teach myself, and I'm also on social media, and I can see that. But I think there is a lot of hope on both sides. So this low politics must be separated from the high politics. And above all, there's the regional trading arrangements. For this, we need to work. Obviously, on Pakistan's part, we should have given India this MFN status. And Pakistan being a small market, here the businessmen really fear. But I think this is how we can get into a competitive market. And that market can help us to boost our economic capabilities. So forget the traditional security, what we have been doing. I think this is the time to engage in non-traditional security, and coordinated actions are needed here. And for that, for example, we have been facing fog, smog, locust. This is where we need to engage. And non-traditional security can connect us. So if we will keep looking India, Pakistan since last 70 years from the perspective of traditional security, there may not be massive room or much room. But from the non-traditional security perspective, it's a common threat to India and Pakistan, and not just to the India and Pakistan, to the entire region. So then moving forward, that we have to create this SARC visa, we have to operationalize. And obviously for this, trust deficit needs to be reduced. And this is where the role of the leadership, which I speak, comes in. And above all, the most important point, this deficit of media literacy. This is getting lethal with every passing day. The foreign minister of Pakistan and India could not meet at Tajikistan because the warlike environment the media creates. The shaking hands would have been much more dangerous for any side. If they would have shaken hand, the media would have just taken that the other side has just lost. So we have to avoid hawks on both sides. There are hawks in India, there are hawks in Pakistan. So this thing is really serious, that how to get away from the hawks. They will keep dragging, but I find that there is a sincere understanding in India and Pakistan at this moment. And I have seen since this ceasefire agreement that the media has played somehow a positive role. And with this, the leadership, the political leadership, they must not look for the short-term political objectives. And they must not create a hostile environment. When Imran Khan wanted to be elected a prime minister in 2018, he didn't give such good statement. And same did what the Prime Minister Modi did. So at the end, what I would say is that Pakistan needs to get into the Indo-Pacific. And for being part of the new global realignment, for this, normalization is required. And I find that there is a massive gap in Pakistan's foreign policy choices, that for us, Indo-Pacific is not an opportunity yet, is not a place which we should explore. And if we do not invest on that diplomatically, politically, economically, I find that this new strategic arrangement, which is just like a transatlantic partnership, we will miss that. Thank you very much.